Adam, what are you doing Sunday the 4th of February?
Sunday, the 4th of February? Is that this coming Sunday?
It is.
Well, it's funny you say that, Russell, because I'm actually going to the EJ Cards 4th anniversary trade day.
Wow, tell me more about this.
Well, there's an extreme shot basketball machine tournament.
Really?
Yes, there are mega NBA mystery boxes, free drinks and snacks all day.
Free drinks?
Free drinks, and it's the return of Carson's Pokemon 4th anniversary box.
And can I bring the kids?
Sure, there's a designated kids trading zone, so you might go home with new ones.
What's the address of this amazing place, Adam?
Shop 3, 2 to 4 Whitehorse Road in Blackburn.
Oh, great. Is there good parking there?
That's a great question. I really can't. I'm going to put a disclaimer saying I'm not sure. I haven't had great luck getting car parking around, but it is near the train station.
Well, this is good.
It is. That is the 4th anniversary trade day. Now, how the hell is Carson's Pokemon 4th anniversary box coming back if it's the 4th anniversary? It should be the return of Carson's Pokemon 3rd anniversary box, which is back for the 4th anniversary. Not to mess with their marketing. Welcome, everybody, to episode 127 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson.
I don't think we've got a future in reading ads, Adam.
I don't know. I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was genuine. That was real. We're going to get signed up. We're going to be TV commercial readers for radio. Don't you worry. Oh, what are you doing this coming Sunday, the 4th of February?
I mean, I could bring the kids and dump them off into the trading zone.
And just trade them.
Let them run amok.
I'll help you with the trades.
Rimp will look after the kids, won't
It'll
he?
be fine.
Yeah.
No problem. Oh, it'll be interesting. Might be able to trade them for one of the, for entry into one of the basketball tournaments.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Cool. We're back.
We are back. Let's do this. So we got heaps to run through. All-Star Weekend, trade summaries.
I thought there was a lot to talk about in the last episode, and then there's another run sheet worth of stuff. It's big. There's a lot happening.
To be fair, it's kind of 2 weeks because when we did the episodes before with Jonah Michaels, Mr. Court Kings, Mr. Ross Taunton, we didn't really cover any of this stuff. So
the current affairs.
Kind of why there's a bit of a build up. But in saying that, it's just been a very busy week, NBA and hobby news wise. So
yeah, there is definitely a lot going on. What would you like to start with?
I think we should start talking about the final voting results for the All-Star Weekend. And we've roughly talked about this, about using the All-Star statistics to guide your hobby purchases. So what I would like to do with you is go through some of the results, and then we can pick out, say, 1 or 2 cards per conference, and we can say, I was expecting this person to go, higher in the voting or lower, and then, how does that play out with their pricing? Because I think if we're being, realistic here, hobby is very much about popularity. It's about the Faruja factor, and this is literally maybe one of the world's biggest popularity contests in a way, isn't it? Look how many votes some of these guys got. Giannis got nearly 5.5 million.
It's very skewed voting because I know I voted twice, and one of those days my votes were worth triple.
Triple, yeah.
So how many people are really voting? You're allowed to vote every day for a month and a bit.
They've done a few things to stop robots from voting. You need to have an NBA...
An account?
Yeah.
True.
And then your account is time limited per 24 hours.
Yes.
Which I think is a really good thing because I think there was sort of a period of time where Yao Ming was getting maybe 1 or 2 votes from a bot that might not have been human driven.
Yes.
But that's okay.
Oh, well, these things happen.
All right, let's start with LeBron James at the top, 5 million votes. Jokic with 4.5. Durant with 4.4. And then there's a very big drop-off down to Anthony Davis at 2.7. In the guards, we've got Luka at 4.1. And then Steph Curry at 3.2. Giannis at 5.4 million. Tatum at 4.8, Embiid at 4.7, and then again a really big drop off. So Jimmy Buckets is next at 1.6 million. The backcourt is Halliburton at 3.3 and Trae Young at 2.2.
Yep.
And Damian Lillard is very, very close there at 2.2, and he's also the one that ended up starting there. So actually, I'm going to segue into this first. Jalen Brunson got 1.4 million votes, and there's been a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of social media awareness that he's not starting, and I don't agree with this at all. I think it's just ridiculous that we're even having this conversation. But where do you sit on the Jalen Brunson All-Star start snub?
There's actually a little thing on it about how the fan rank serves as the tiebreaker.
Good.
And it's like, cool, so the fans wanted Lillard.
Great.
They're trying to lean towards if it's a tie, that give the people what they want. So I don't know. I think they had to draw a line in the sand, and I think because the fans make up for 50% of the vote, it's only fair. So get more popular, Jalen.
Yeah, I just actually don't think he played that well for people to be kicking off.
Brunson.
Yeah.
I was shocked that Lillard got voted in, to be honest. But
look, I think that's actually really good for someone like Lillard, who has been around the league for a really long time. If we're being honest here, he's sort of been stuck in purgatory in Portland. Now he's coming to like a genuine contender.
But Trae was fourth, right? So the fans voted Trae Young second.
Yeah.
And he is fourth.
So I think what that means is that the NBA players and the media didn't
want him there?
Yeah.
Don't think he deserves it? I don't know. I feel like the media and the players kind of shouldn't have such an impact on being able to sway someone from second to irrelevant.
So I think one of the problems they were having is that before they changed it so that, because originally it was all fans.
Yeah, and then Taco Fall and Alex Caruso almost got voted in one year.
Yeah, and I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and they said, we need to cut this nonsense out. But if I can be honest with you, one of my fondest All-Star memories was Kobe starting as a rookie.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, I voted for Chet Holmgren. I voted for, many different people and, many different iterations, but I definitely voted for Chet a few times because I think he would be the perfect All-Star this year. He can play all over the floor.
Sure.
He's actually flashy but not selfish. If he didn't get the ball a couple of possessions, he'll just do whatever. He's not going to kick off about it. And then he'll do some crazy dribbling. He'll be, dunking on people and dropping threes. I think he would have been insane in the All-Star game. So that's probably the one that, if I had my wish, that would be the one,
Yeah.
What's your surprises here? What's sticking out to you when you look at these numbers and you say, hang on a second, this doesn't add up for the good, or it doesn't add up for the bad? Where are you at?
I feel like the league has a lot of control, is my summary of it.
Yeah, okay.
Is the league does have a lot of control over how these things pan out.
Yeah.
For good or for better or for worse, it's not a. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've got it's their show, and let's not beat around the bush. This is an entertainment weekend.
100%.
So this isn't for
boring players like Jalen Brunson to be in. This
isn't something super important like the in-season tournament where there's a crowned champion. Shout out to the inaugural winners, the Los Angeles Lakers.
So this is Zach Lowe would disagree with you on that, right? So if you do get voted into All-Star, it does go towards your money. Your money on your paycheck. So look, it does mean something, but
yes. So but that's money in the pocket, right? That's the money in the pocket of the player.
Yeah.
This is a weekend for the fans to watch all their favorite players play together.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like there have been some worse snubs in the All-Star game. Jalen Brunson has been very good, not discounting his performance, but he also isn't Giannis or LeBron. So
I got to tell you, man, I think for me this is a lot about big markets and their media coverage and how much that matters. If Brunson was playing in Toronto and playing as well, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The other thing too is it's not like the Knicks their record's not that fantastic. So really, what are we talking about here?
Knicks have been okay since
They've been okay, but
recently. But that's the thing, right? New York is a big place. Atlanta got behind Trae Young with 2.2 million votes. Pull your finger out, New York. If you want your man in there, start voting.
I think it's more than that. I think the kids love Trae.
Yeah. But like
Relatable,
New York's a bigger
lovable
franchise than, you know what I mean? Like there's more fans. That could be Julius's fault, let's be real.
All right. So for me, I interpreted this data a little bit differently. So for example, I think this is a really good list to use to guide your hobby journey. So let's look at the guards in the West. This is actually like amazing. Lucas number 1, Steph's number 2, SGA, Kyrie, Anthony Edwards, James Harden, De'Aaron Fox, Booker, Ja Morant, Austin Reeves. That's the who's who of guards in the West. And I would also say too, it's amazingly accurate in terms of who's popular, within the hobby. It hurts my feelings that Fox is at number 7. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's totally okay. The other one for me too, so let's go to the East guards now. So Tyrese Maxey. So this is someone who I think is looking amazing. And I think if you're looking at these numbers and saying, where is his kid going to be in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, I think you use that to sort of, prospect up in that way. The really interesting one for me, though, is LaMelo Ball at 9. And let's reflect that back onto his hobby value. He's taken an absolute caning the last couple of years in terms of his popularity. I think that meshes together really well because, this is someone that was in All-Star games not that long ago. He's had a rough couple of years. I'll definitely give him that. And then the other hobby story for me this year has been Halliburton. So Halliburton, number 1 in guards in the East, 3,300,000, nearly 400,000 votes.
Yeah.
I think if we do a 12 months, we recap, I think Halliburton's going to be at the top of that list. I think at some point in that list, Maxey's going to be on that list.
It's interesting because you look at the voting across peers, Halliburton through the roof.
Yeah.
Like all the players voted for it. 97 media members voted for Halliburton.
Yeah. He's had just an unbelievable year, honestly. I just love watching that guy play. So I think for me, that's, a really important stat. So I'm going to put this out to the listeners. Again, I'm going to do something on social media about this week. I want to put together a spreadsheet basically in this order. And then I want to get the PSA 10 silver last sold price. We'll have to muck around a little bit this, with the older guys, KD, Harden, Steph Curry, etc., but
we'll get the top chrome. It's fine, or whatever.
So what I'm asking from the audience is, does someone know how we can automate this so that it will just be an ongoing rolling thing? If they can write some code for us, if they can do something like that, that would be absolutely lovely. In terms of compensation, we'll have to negotiate something in that space, but it might be maybe some break credit, maybe some shout outs on the show. We're not offering a lot. We're not offering a lot here, people. I'm not going to lie to you. It's more going to be a labor of love. But so what I'm trying to get to here is if you could then track that and see, where these people are going up and down. I just wonder if this is actually a really good tool. So the other standout for me too in this space is Scotty Barnes, right? So he's 10th in the East in the front court. So that what I read from that is don't go too hard on Scotty Barnes. He's not winning the popularity contest. Even though in my head, I'm like, Scotty Barnes is down a lot. The kid is crazy talented. They've just blown up their team to build around him. Maybe that theory is actually not that good, keeping in mind of the popularity contest. Or you could say, well, actually, he's got a lot of room to grow in the next couple of years. But
I got an interesting one on that guard list.
Talk to me.
Derek White?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to bring him up. More votes than De'Aaron Fox. That hurt my feelings, man. And Devin Booker.
Wow.
Maybe the bots still are at it.
No, I said I could vote for a month and a half. I've been hard on Derek White.
That's the only explanation to me that Derek White's got this many
170,000 votes for Derek White just to get him over the line.
That is ridiculous. I don't know what's worse. The non-autograph card or Derek White outvoting De'Aaron Fox and Devin Booker. Like, really?
And Boston fans are very vocal. You got to nominate a whole team.
What, Boston fans voted 700,000 times?
No, not all of them.
Come
There's some
on.
old Spurs fans that would have voted for him. Probably not. Let's be real.
That is ridiculous. So I think the other one too, probably to look at, is Şengün. So he's number 5. Above Kawhi Leonard, above Paul George, above Wembanyama. That really got me. I actually thought, why isn't Wembanyama starting this year? You know, or are we just living in this hobby bubble that doesn't actually share the same feelings of the general, populace?
I wonder if we could get the votes, because you mentioned the year that Kobe started.
Yeah.
Like, you go back, if this was 1996, do you think Wembanyama would be starting? Wembanyama would be in the All-Star game?
Probably not. There was more. Big guys were probably more of a dime a dozen back then.
True. I think it's interesting. Certainly some food for thought, but maybe the Rising Stars Challenge, maybe they want to sell that. Have they got a Rising Stars?
Is that going
thing on?
ahead this year? Because I think the last couple of years they didn't run it.
I never watched much on
how
All-Star
uncompetitive
weekend.
that it was.
I rewatched the All-Star game. I don't know.
I watch it on replay, but yeah, I'm not going to sit down and watch it live.
I can't. Things to know. I'm on the NBA site now, so
I think the other one that's
Sunday, the 18th of February. Oh, good.
The other one I'll make this my final one. And feel free to add in anything you want. Is Paulo Banchero, because he started the season really amazingly, and he's had some good games in the last sort of 20 games or so, but they've definitely slowed down a lot. But I think if you really think about Banchero as a player and the market that he's in, I think for him to get that many votes is actually, very warming. And I'd probably also say too, probably summarizes where he's at hobby-wise in terms of value.
Yes.
Sort of sitting around that $400 mark, right in the middle, not too expensive, not too cheap. And then the other obvious mismatch out of that too then is Jaylen Brown. Like, we've been talking about this, the guy's too cheap, but then here he is here at number 5 in the East.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That's crazy, right?
This next ad break is brought to you by Slambox, Australia's best value basketball repacks. Visit www.slambox.com.au to check out the latest series or join the Slambox Facebook page and message them directly. Slambox features big-name autos including Giannis, Zion, LaMelo, Banchero, Chet, Ja, Tatum, and more. Super short prints, case hits from a variety of different products including National Treasures, Flawless, Noir, Immaculate, Impeccable, and more. Slambox has different tiered product levels to cater for all budget levels and collector preferences. Thank you, Slambox, for your support. Alrighty, trades.
Trades. I know there's probably a couple that I haven't sort of seen.
I wanted to do this last week, but we never got around to doing it. So here we are now. It's fine. I really want to talk about this. The Pacers get Pascal Siakam. They sent away Bruce Brown, Jordan Noir, and 3 first-round picks to the Raptors. In a separate but also part of the trade, the Pelicans sent Kira Lewis and a second-round pick to the Pacers. And then the Pacers sent him to the Raptors, and then the Pelicans got cash. So I love this Pascal Siakam trade so much for the Pacers because athletically, I think he fits in with them, like with the pace that they play. But my observation of the Pacers is they really sometimes struggle when the game slows down and they're in the half court and they're not getting those open 3-point shots and they're not getting to the basket. And I think Spicy P is really good at scoring in the mid-range. Probably my fear with him is that he'll hold on to the ball for too long and then the ball won't be moving around as much. And look, I haven't watched a heap of Pacers, but I have watched a couple of games. That doesn't seem to be a massive problem for them so far. And then the other thing I really like about it too is, defensively, I think he fits in with their schemes. And I've already said this on the show, so I'm not going to go on about this too much, but I think that the thing that the Pacers have done better than maybe all of the teams in the league at the moment is putting pieces together that complement each other. Their front court complements their back court. Their wings complement their back court and their bigs. Do you know what I mean? Everything just sort of fits together. And the other thing they've done a really good job of too is finding 10 players that, go together. So like their bench has got Isaiah Jackson, it's got Obi Toppin. Those guys come in and they give them different looks to what their starters give them, but they fit in with the run and gun, the switching, the shooting, all that type of stuff. Like I love their team. Like, and I think, I love that movie Moneyball. I kind of fantasize that the Pacers office are this like bunch of sort
These
of
super
deranged geniuses that are just building these stat machines and just putting all these, simulators together, and, because they've done a really, really good job. So I love this trade so much. And I think it's also good to see teams trying to win, because we're also living in an era where teams are trying to lose. And, I kind of hate that.
We joke about the Spurs doing it.
Yeah, definitely. But, these guys are going for it, and Halliburton is having an amazing year, like a Steve Nash MVP year. I love this. So hobby-wise, that's what we're here for. We're not here for my basketball takes.
It's small market to small market for me.
Definitely.
Does it move the needle?
So I don't think it does, and I'll tell you why. Because he's already won a championship,
Mm.
and he didn't explode, and his prices didn't skyrocket. I think he's just one of those players without the Fruja factor. And does it hurt his value? I think that's the question. Is probably more relevant here.
That's interesting. Yeah,
the answer is
maybe.
no, right? I think this is going to keep him more relevant because the Pacers they don't want to win. They wanted to blow it up. I think the assets they got back for him is okay.
I think this is a good trade for both teams. I don't think hobby-wise there's any impact, but I see India. It's nice to see Indiana pushing in.
Yeah, definitely.
And having a crack.
So their theory is they're not going to get anyone in free agency. They only get it through trades. So we're seeing this play out.
Yeah.
And then the Raptors didn't want to get the same return for Fred VanVleet that they got for Pascal Siakam, which was nothing. So they've got something back for it. I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine. Hey, speaking of someone else who was traded away from the Raptors, OG, I spoke to you about how Thibs and him should get married. There was a 3-game period where he had 5 total minutes of rest. I told you.
This guy, I know.
I told you that. He's going to play that guy to death. He's actually going to die on the court.
So because he's not playing an All-Star weekend, him and Tibbs are going to go off and elope.
To Vegas.
Yeah,
going to be gambling
they're
all
going to be in
weekend.
Vegas instead of Indiana on
just
that
gambling
weekend.
all weekend, just smoking cigars till 3 o'clock in the morning. I can actually see those two doing that.
They're going to get hitched. It's going to be.
So I was kind of angry in the last episode about the non-autograph, and I'm so mad about this trade. So Terry Rozier is going to the Heat.
For nothing.
Kyle Lowry is going to the Hornets, and some meager draft compensation will go to the Hornets too. I just think the best analogy for this is a team pulling down another team's pants and just stealing something from them really good. It's like the Lakers, how I get really annoyed about that, them just getting all the players and then stacking up their team.
Yep.
Look, I get it from the Hornets' point of view. They're just going to blow this thing up. They're going to build around Brandon Miller, the non-autograph guy. They're going to build around LaMelo Ball. That's fine. But at the same time, don't make a team 10 times better and get nothing back. That just makes me so crazy, honestly.
It's interesting. Well, you're right, because you're actually making the team better before the waiver side of the year comes along. And it was interesting that you talk about how unfair the Lakers are, because the Lakers wait for the waivers to come through.
It's just a heist, though.
Yeah.
He's actually a defensive first point guard. That's his nature.
Mm-hmm.
But as he got better, he got more offensive responsibilities, defensive. So what's going to happen is he's going to go to the Heat.
Yeah.
He'll go back to that defensive mindset. Mm-hmm. He'll score when he's called upon and needed. And they're going to be good. And look, maybe from the league competitiveness, this is a good thing, right? So now we've got another team that can challenge Boston. We've got another team that can challenge the Bucks. Maybe I'm looking at this from the wrong point of view, but I'm just at that very frustrated thing where I'm like, imagine him on the Kings, or imagine him on the Lakers, or why did they settle?
Don't worry, Lakers would probably end up buying bloody Lowry off waivers after he clears waivers from Charlotte.
Yeah,
and we'll regret that because he's
so
old.
The other really funny part about this too is that Miami actually saved money out of it.
Oh, they didn't. No. They didn't just sort of fleece Charlotte. They dropped their pants. Yeah. They pulled Charlotte's pants down.
And so I can also imagine now a world where they're going to go out and spend more money and get someone else in. So that's the other part of this too. It's very possible the Heat are going to get better again before the end of the deadline.
Brogdon
So,
to the Heat.
I mean, it's not outrageous to say this, right?
Yeah.
So, look, let's tie this back to hobby. That's why we're here. Not me ranting about things that make me sad.
Scary Terry in Miami, hey? What is that going to do?
Terry Rozier is not on card ladder.
That's
I think,
not a good thing.
I think this is pretty much where we end the hobby conversation here.
Kyle Lowry? Oh, look at that. He's on card ladder. It's not the most interesting of card. There's a Core Kings one. Oh, look, there's a blank slate. Hang on.
I gotta tell you, man, this sold for a lot more than what I was expecting.
What's this?
So Rozier Silver PSA 10 last sold for $85, which was on the 26th of January. I've got to say that's a bubble card because going back and looking at his older sales, a green, which is the color match, he's a Celtics rookie. PSA 10 sold for $26, and an iMac RPA number to 99 PSA 10. Those cards are really difficult to gem. Sold for 147. So,
question about color matching. If they change teams, so say he was drafted by the Celtics and he goes to Houston, is red a color match for him now?
No, the green is still the match.
Fine, awkward, but sure.
You could make it an eBay 1-of-1 though if you wanted to.
Of course, you just don't say it's an actual 1-of-1.
Just play the long game, yeah.
Careful about how you title your stuff on eBay. If it's non-autograph,
final thoughts on Terry Rozier.
It's scary for the league, not scary for the hobby.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
We have a new sponsor supporting the show. It is The Bangman, who is a new startup and have been operating since June this year, delivering a variety of hobby packs in a single box at an affordable price. So far, they've delivered some huge hits. The biggest one they've pulled so far is a Steph Curry Signatures Gold Auto to 10, which came out of the July edition. Some comps have been rounded up to about 15k AUD, which was verified by Card Letter. So if you're not familiar with what the Bangman is and what their product is offering, it's basically an assortment of hobby packets put into a box at an affordable buy-in. You can then open a variety of different hobby packs. Some of the advantages of buying into a product such as this is that you can sample a whole bunch of different products. Another way to think of it is doing your own break at home. The advantage of the Bangman's product is you are purchasing sealed, unsearched hobby packs as opposed to a single card repack product that has a huge range in value. Just to make the clear delineation between the Bangman's product and any traditional repack, when you buy into a Bangman product, you are getting the guarantee of the Panini seal, and then all of the hits then come out of sealed products. So all the numbered cards, if appropriate for the product, rookie patch autographs, signature cards, and of course those super short prints and case hits. Another key point for the Bangman product is that they have an assortment of different hobby packs in a custom box at two different price points, one being a gold edition and the other being a silver edition. Each month, the Bangman changes up the pack so it's not the same constant lineup. For listeners of our podcast, we have an exclusive deal for you. Use promo code youcantcompthis to get a $15 discount off your next purchase. Find the Bangman on Instagram, the.bang.man, and on Facebook, the Bangman. Thank you so much, Amir and Team Bangman.
Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we're the only podcast in the world that's going to talk about this, but here we are. The Pistons and the Wizards are finalizing a trade. Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Livers, and 2 second-round picks for Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala, which the trade did go through. Look, I love this for actually both teams. I think this is actually a really good trade. It's good for the Pistons. They need some adults in the room, and I think that the Marvin Bagley experiment is over.
Yes, agreed.
So they brought him in. They checked him out. He's not going to pan out. They've got enough big bodies anyway. I think Jalen Duren is looking really good. They've got beef stew. Do you need someone else clogging up, the minutes rotation? Probably not. You just need someone in there to mentor. I'm totally fine with that, right? Now, on the other hand, the Wizards are in such a bad need just to blow this whole thing up, but keep young prospects. So hang on to your Bagleys, hang on to your Koulibalys, hang on to your Denny's.
Hold on to your Bagleys.
Get rid of your Jordan Pools. Get rid of your Kyle Kuzmas.
Yes.
Look, hobby-wise, I think if we're being realistic here, Gallinari doesn't move the needle much. Muscala, I doubt he's even got a rookie card, let alone be on card ladder. Look, a lot of money's been spent on Bagley over the years. Like, a lot of money. So this guy was 2018 rookie. He was highly prospected. People were spending a lot of money. People lost a lot of money on this kid. Do I think he is a buy? I'm holding some Bagley, but I still wouldn't recommend that you go out and spend your hard-earned money on him. I think that's a very long-term deep dive. If you get some low-numbered PSA 10 stuff for a couple of bucks, like, awesome. Put it away, but don't be going out and stockpiling 55 PSA 10 silvers, something nonsense like this.
Yeah. Although, on a sidebar, John O'Michaels, get rid of your Killian Hayes while you're at it.
Look, I think if you've gone this far with Killian Hayes, I'd probably just write it out, to be honest, because
you'll end up somewhere else.
I think the rotation is pretty settled there in their backcourt. The only thing I can probably say is maybe Jaden Ivey will break into the rotation. But do I think that's going to impact Hayes' minutes too much more? Look, probably not. The guy's going to stick in the league. I think he's going to be a 10-year vet. And realistically, if you bought him already, you've probably already done your money anyway.
James Gregory, buy heavy on Marvin Williams. Jono's like, you could probably sell them all and buy a $2 scratchy. Oh boy, yeah.
It's really tough if you did prospect on Killian Hayes.
I feel like if you're prospecting in Detroit and Washington at the moment, it's tough.
Yeah, it's
tough.
The rest of the show is quick hitting, just general points for us to have a chat about. So this is a question from collecting_cardboard_Oz. And actually, this is a question we get a lot. And so I think one of the ideals that I came into this show with doing is that we wanted to do simple questions. We wanted to do slightly more complicated questions. And we wanted to do very technical analysis and breakdown. And we try and do all to varying degrees of success, Ad.
So what does this one go under? Because I'm reading the question. I feel like we could get very philosophical or we could be very superficial with this one.
So I'll do the superficial because that's how I view this. You can do the philosophical, and then we've covered both. And so the question is...
it's not going to be very deep and philosophical.
Why do we use the silver prism to comp from? And I think if you are just getting into collecting, if you are someone who isn't hardcore into this and just, does this very casually, I think that's a really, really, really good question. So the answer is it doesn't represent every single card of that person. But what it does try and give you an example of is sample size. So the number of trades, it helps to predict what a trend is. And maybe you can see, well, this card is going up. This card is going down. But the caveat to that is, and this is the conversation that we were having the other day was, well, we've been talking about this just in the last episode with the Lucas Silvers. So there's 2,000 of those bad boys. So if he does tank in the short term, he can tank down quite a bit. But does that mean every single Luka card is going to tank? No, it doesn't. So, for example, the Kabooms, the blank slates, the RPAs, the stuff numbered to 10, is that also going to be down 25%? No, definitely not. But it just gives you a bit of an idea of where the market's at. Adam.
I think you covered a lot of it. I think the silver prism...
Not the philosophy, though.
The thing is, when I started, it was upper deck. It was trash. It was a lot of... God, before I started, it was Fleer was the set. There's always a flagship set, and it's driven hobby-wise by the hobby. Like, the collectors set this precedent where and you went into it, it's a traded commodity. It's where all the attention is. It's where people see consistent value. So if Prism is their flagship set, and it has been, it used to be Topps and Topps Chrome particularly. That's the card people want graded. That's the one that is getting sent off most to PSA, and it might be a self-fulfilling prophecy because it's the most commonly traded commodity. people identify it and are able to relate to it. If you give a comp that is the select, I don't know, what are the 3 levels?
Courtside, Premier level.
Concourse?
Yep.
Yep. So which one's the top one?
Courtside.
So courtside is the top level. You're using that as a comp, and there's, say, 150 the pop count of PSA 10s versus 2,500 of the silver prism. You can just see the sheer weight of transactions, and you refer to it as transactional, but it's in the spotlight. It's not just transactional because people flip more of them. People look for more of them, and we do have a bit of a sheep mentality where why do we compare against a silver prism? Because that's what we did last season, and that's what we did last season, right? I don't know when it changed, but there is always a flagship set. Prism is that set. Prism is the tops of this iteration of cards, and that might change with Fanatics.
I mean, there's 2 arguments there, right? You could say, well, Prism, Panini based their product very much off Topps Chrome. Mm-hmm. Essentially, they copied it, right? The refractor was a Prism. It's the same thing. It's just called Prism, right?
Look, it's a different finish on the card, Russell. No, anyway. No.
It is right. Different technology. Exactly... Lawyers definitely punch that out. And then the other thing too is the numbers initially was that you could go down, you could buy a box for $20 and you could get a $200 card out of it. That was also the pull for people, right?
Yeah.
Like being realistic about it. And look, Card Ladder didn't choose Prism. They're just reporting what the market is doing.
Correct.
Yeah, 100%.
Correct.
So
there's a cause and effect from both sides. Like, realistically, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If there are more Prism cards being traded, people depend on the high-level volume of numbers.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think there's a case to be made. There is a case to be made for other comps, but I think it's a good starting point that. And how would you describe Prism as a set? Where do you? Because we talk about high and low end. Do you know what I like? Where does Prism fit in? I feel like Prism's its own level almost.
I think in terms of just a single card without an autograph, even you could even say without it being numbered, and without a patch put into it, it's the most important card.
Yeah, that's why I give it flagship status.
Yeah, and I think flagship is a perfect word.
Yeah. Sorry, I laughed at the comment in the in the comments. James Gregory, Stadium Club in the 90s was always 50 cents more than the upper deck.
That 50 cents goes a long way if you buy 10 packs.
It scales. It scales, especially with 90s logic.
Alrighty, our friends at Card Ladder are always kicking out the gems, so they've got another one this week for us. Giannis rookie card, BGS 9.5, numbered to 10. Autograph, albeit the sticker, BGS 10, sold for $51,240. Comparing that with the Jason Tatum Optic Black 1/1 PSA 9, Mr. Adam Amy, that sold for $43,200. Which would you go towards personally, and what would you recommend our listeners be putting their money into?
I would, firstly, get the Jason Tatum just authenticated, because why do you need a grade on a 1/1? Sorry, we've been over this. I would go. We just talked about flagships, and I would take the Giannis. I would take the Giannis. It's got an autograph on it. Yes, it's on a sticker, but it's an auto to start with. I'm sorry. No offense to Optic. Tatum's a tempting card, but that Giannis auto is for me. Long term, I think we check back in 10 years and that, I feel like there's a big gap.
I think if I'm comparing these two guys as prospects, I'm leaning towards Giannis. So just from the start. And then if I'm comparing products, again, I'm leaning towards Prism. So that's like 2 votes again. So this is almost obtuse what I'm about to say, but I actually think the autograph takes away from that.
The auto takes away because of the Prism.
because it's a sticker, and like we were just talking about before, like Prism doesn't need an autograph. It doesn't need a patch. It doesn't even need a number. Like if that was just a gold number to 10 with Giannis on it, oh,
there is a goal. There is one out there. There is the Giannis rookie to 10.
yeah. Actually, I think that would be
It's probably worth
amazing.
$500,000. Let's be real.
And maybe the artwork would look a little bit more rounded out. It wouldn't have that sort of bar through the middle there, like, similar to the Tatum, if you want to use that for comparison. So, look, I think getting one of ones matters. So now I'm voting for the Tatum card. And this is pre the time where we had 35 one of ones, right? Still there's
is
a
it?
few. Yeah. The select one of one.
Yeah, you're right. No, this is before select
sort of
lost
3
the
years
plot.
later. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. Okay.
And look, that also means that there's 9 of this card out there somewhere when we're talking about the Giannis, whereas it's one of this. So look.
What are the chances that those Giannis's are graded gem or better?
Tough.
so many
for me,
ways
this is actually not a pushover at all. But at the end of the day, I think I would just go with Giannis just for the fact,
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So really interesting sale though, because again, I think what you said is correct. That's kind of a level 2 product. It's PSA 9. How many collectors are going to be out there doing this? This actually, my feeling about that Jason Tatum is that's a PC. I don't think that's an investment or a flip. Whereas the Giannis, I'm very much like, that to me is a very strong flip card.
That is tradable as gold, as much as we joke about the fact that it is a gold to 10. But yeah, it's a very tradable commodity. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, this is a little bit of a feel-good story. Again, probably being a Panini boy here, but that's like totally fine. There was a gentleman who somehow allegedly came across a whole bunch of cards that were, let's call it, backdoored from Panini. So someone took cards from Panini that they should not have done. He, for whatever reason, held onto them for a period of time. Who knows exactly how long he held onto them for. Puts himself onto social media, basically flexes them all. It's a whole bunch of Kuzma, Magic, Lonzo Ball autographs. And then Panini reached out to them and basically recovered the goods. So I'm all about this. I think this is something that's been spoken about in terms of a negative that Panini haven't been able to keep a handle on in terms of, cards being backdoored. They do make duplicate one of one. So if one does get damaged, they've got another one there. There's been some reports of people pocketing one of ones and, leaving work for the day. Clearly this person, like 10 of them there, they've just taken the whole lot.
Well, there's 9.
Yeah, I counted very quickly, didn't I?
Are they all numbered differently?
A little bit tricky to see, but yeah, they're all serial numbered.
Yeah, I was just saying if there were multiples, if there were any multiple instances of the same number.
It's numbered to 10, that card, so...
Yeah.
Last interesting fact on this, though, is the Kuzma auto is fake. He never signed that card, so...
True. We've also got another card ladder little comparison. This time in a bit of your flavour. We've got Joel Embiid, no auto Prism, numbered to 10.
Yeah.
Sold for $16,100 versus a select to 10 Nikola Jokic rookie auto. BGS 9.5 with a 10 autograph. Last sold for $15,000. Which card do you prefer?
This is really tough for me because I think the Embiid rookie, literally just talking about this, I think he's undervalued. But then it's going for more than what the select autograph is going for. And yes, again, it's a lesser set, but it's an on-card autograph. It's not a sticker autograph. So I probably like this autograph more than I like the Giannis auto.
Interesting.
I'm going to stay true to Prism, though, because I think the further, we sort of move away, I think these other sets aren't going to matter as much. And maybe at this time, so this select for Joker, I think that's fine. I think if you put your money into that, I don't think that's going to be a loss. But what I mean by moving away and sets are going to mean less, how much is the resale on Chronicles going to be in 10 years' time? Is it possible that you just physically won't be able to give them away?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you know what I mean? So I think if you're sort of applying that rule to this in a very barbaric type way, that would make me lean towards Prism being more important, in the grander scheme of things. So, and again, it's that sort of true rookie card where it's just a card. There's not anything sort of fouling it up, and it's PSA 10.
Yeah,
pretty tough to get 10s.
It is.
Where are you at, man?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's tough, right?
The auto on this one is tempting, and you pointed out the on card, but you're right. It's gold, and it's the flagship product. This is what's bigger than a silver Prism, the gold. This is the number to 10. This isn't just the silver. This is the gold. It's not a variant. It's not a. Yeah, this is the real deal. So, long term wise, I'm on board with the gold Prism. I don't think you've done your dough if you bought the Jokic though.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. Interesting. The card ladder has it valued. The Joel Embiid at 17K and the Jokic at 14,780.
That card ladder thing, I got to tell you, man, I think it's really a pretty useless tool. But
I reckon that's like the work experience student just thought they put a number on it, like had nothing to do, just puts the card ladder value. Joking, it's actually an algorithm thing.
Some crazy algorithm, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, this next one, I'm just going to skim through this really quickly, but I did want to talk to you about this. So this is from @B_is_bowl card blog. If you don't follow this gentleman, it's Mario, excuse my pronunciation, Alejandro. He puts up some really cool stuff, and he puts some effort into it, typing it all out. So basically, it's talking about the 2023 Bowman draft Tom Brady autograph.
Mm-hmm.
It was very heavily advertised. Ken Golden was all over it. There was the $500,000 bounty that was out for it. Then it actually sold on the private market, and it ended up selling for $158,000, which is much less than what the media machine was, pushing it towards. Mm-hmm. So what is really clever about this post, though, is that he compared it to a pretty average is unfair to say, but it's not a one of one. It hasn't got advertising behind it. It's the green precious metal gem of Dennis Rodman, which sold for $160,000 in a private sale, in a very relative time comparison. So, we've been talking about kabooms on the show and where I think the kabooms are going in the future in terms of what is the most direct comp to a precious metal gem.
Yeah.
But these precious metal gems are the real thing. Like, there's nothing that really, comes close to comparing them to them in today's current market.
Yeah.
I just think this is like absolutely fascinating, in that there's not that much, really propping up this card other than the fact that it's a PMG and it just sold for 160K. Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. It's pretty crazy. It's actually, I'm just reading the post. In the 90s is where it's at.
The only thing I would push back on with his post here is that if you don't already own an army of Skybox PMGs, it's too late.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I was going to push back. That's because I thought it was going to say it's not too late. It is too late.
It's far too late.
We've missed the boat entirely.
The boat sailed a long, long time ago. Yes.
Tristan Thompson suspended for 25 games for the violation of an NBA Players Association anti-drug program. So he tested positive for ibuprofen and SARM LGD-4033, which are basically, when I look this up, are peptides and growth hormones. So
that's not good.
I'm really, really interested to follow this story because my long-standing LeBron theory is that he's been using HGH. So clearly LeBron is not using one of these two that
Tristan got done for.
Yeah. And also, too, you watched LeBron play today. The guy's, 40-something years old. He's still playing 40.
He's 39.
God, he's close enough to 40. How many minutes did he play today?
He's the oldest player in the NBA.
And he's still, getting 18 rebounds? Are you kidding me?
He got 20 rebounds. First time it's career high for him. Yep.
He played amazing today.
Yep. 30-point, 20 rebound, 10 assist game in the win.
Look,
double overtime against the Warriors.
Hobby space, I don't think this matters at all for Double T, but interesting little side story, I think.
Yes. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, Tristan Thompson sort of hasn't been relevant for a very long time, and this is not the kind of relevance you want.
Kevin Porter Jr., the resolution will allow Mr. Porter to put this incident, which involved false felony allegations and false facts behind him with no criminal record, and move forward. So if you're not around Kevin Porter Jr., he was a kid that came out of college with basically, I think the nicest way to say it is so much talent, but he also had this sort of rap of being a little bit emotionally unstable, and then also had some sort of criminal convictions in the past that they'd managed and sort of kept under wraps and, kept him in school. So
Yeah.
when he was drafted by the Cavaliers, he lasted there for around a season and then was basically just dumped on the Houston Rockets. It seemed like he was coming good and that, he put all that behind him and then he just had an absolute blowout and then he's basically out of the league. So he's not getting paid at the moment by the NBA. He's like his contract. That was also part of the deal, is that he was basically on a non-guaranteed contract when he re-signed with the Houston Rockets. And that was all to do with his, sort of behavioral and, past stuff. So I think where I'm going with this, though, is that a lot of money was put into Kevin Porter. A lot of people lost money on that. Is this guy a buy? So my answer is very short and sweet. The answer is yes. The answer is this guy is an absolute buy. The question is when do you buy him? I think you still have to wait another 8 to 12 months because there's no actual outcome here. It's just like, a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then when does he come back to the NBA? Well, that's, a little bit of unknown too. But I think
that's true.
High talent, high risk prospecting.
I think it's a watch this space
Kevin
element.
Porter is your man.
Yeah, definitely.
So we joked about Jordan Poole earlier in the show. There was a video from @5cardguys on Instagram. It was just absolutely amazing. February 2021, Jordan Poole silver PSA 10 was 154. November 21, 1,713.
Oh, I've got to put this up on the screen.
May 2022, 2,500. October 22, 1,688. January 23, 810. And January 24, 103. The rise and fall of Sir Jordan Poole.
Bye, Jordan Poole. This guy is... Do you know what's interesting? Like, the plus minus for the different iterations of his card value are not as bad as his actual plus minus as a basketballer. He's actually terrible.
I think this kid's going to go down in NBA infamy in terms of just being quite possibly some of the worst shot selection ever. And it's also funny too because the crowd knows it.
Yes.
The game that I was there, the crowd was actually laughing, groaning. It's kind of entertaining,
Do you think he realizes he's a joke?
I think these guys have so much confidence and ego to get where they got. I don't think it probably matters to him.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're actually right. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care.
The internal sort of self-confidence of these guys is just undescribable in many ways.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Ad, final thoughts. What do you got for us?
I've actually got one from the chat that I thought I would raise because it was a very, very good question, and it follows on from one that we spoke about in the last episode.
Hit me.
James Gregory, I have a great question. In 2024, if your child was into NBA or WNBA, what would be an amount as adults we would feel comfortable them spending on cards, knowing the hobby and how it works? I think there's some layers to this.
Look, I would say first things first, it's a means-tested question.
I agree.
So no matter what I say, it really does depend on... Because you've seen those kids in the American trading card days and they open up their cases and they've got 50Ks worth of cards in there and then they've got another $5,000 in cash on them. They're 12 years old. Like some people, that's their reality, and then other people, your reality is buying 50 cent or $1 cards, right?
Can I reframe just so, because there was also a comment previously because James did mention about the Stadium Club and 50 cents in the 90s.
Yeah.
Followed that up with, mate, if your pocket money was like $5 a week, it made a big difference, 50 cents in a card. Oh yeah. So let's just say, I
was joking, but I was also serious. Like, it does matter. Like that 50 cents. Yeah. That's why I collected hoops, because they were $2 a packet and that was my pocket money. Right.
And when you were 12, how well did you look after your cards, out of curiosity?
Probably not that good. They were in my pockets most of the time.
True.
I love those things.
Yeah,
They came with me. They weren't in Penny
Yeah.
sleeves. I didn't even know what a penny sleeve was.
But
So,
yes, it's an interesting one.
So my answer to this though is I actually don't think that money is the right way to approach this. So what I
Yeah.
mean is,
I
I
like
think
it.
you say, actually, I'm going to open one packet with you today, and then you as the dad take care of the procurement. Because I don't think that
I think you've hit the nail on the head. By the
yeah,
way,
I don't know like how far your pocket money would actually go in, into doing that. So
yeah.
but maybe the thing that I like to do with my kids though is I'm trying to teach my kids how to count, right? So you say this is $10. Then you have to actually match like the dollars to the cards that in the loose boxes, and then you have to manage your budget. But that's like a special treat.
There's like
thing
a
that they're
management
doing.
side of it.
Yeah. So that's my 3 points: means tested, product as opposed to dollars, and then giving them a budget and then sticking to it out of a dollar bin.
I think for me, I'd be curious to know what the children what they like as far as their basketball cards goes. Because as adults that are very aware of what goes on in the hobby,
Yeah.
I think there's not a duty, but a responsibility of sorts with imparting good habits as far as looking after your cards. Good habits as far as, looking after the cards is the big one. Because in 25 years' time, when they are grown up and they're our age and they rifle through their boxes, do they have a Victor Wembanyama?
Do they have a Giannis rookie in there?
A Giannis rookie. Or I was going to say a Victor Wembanyama first day no autograph.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's at what, like knowing which players they like, but then knowing what cards are good. So it should be a let's learn more about the hobby and learn to take care of what we do, but not take their enjoyment away from it. So, and I love the facilitating, being the procurement manager, so to speak.
Yeah.
When it comes to product, and we all know how much kids like to spend their pocket money and go down to the shop and buy a pack of cards.
Yeah.
Maybe having a box of products that you can say, you know what, if you don't want to go down, you can spend your pocket money through me, or give me your money, I'll go down and buy you a pack. You can sell it that way, that you're going down to buy a pack and have a box stored. But sometimes they just want to go to the shop and buy a pack. And I think at that point, it needs to come down to common sense. Because if you're out and about, you're not going to have a top loader. You're not going to be able to look after it if you pull a one of one. Just buy a pack of hoops. Buy a pack of hoops. We're not going to buy a pack of... Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the question, James.
Yeah, that was that's really good. Bigger picture there, because it is. We're shaping the collectors of the future. They might be kids today, but they won't be. Oh, really good question, James. Thanks. Do you have anything else?
Just to say thank you everyone for a lovely show. Thank you, Adam, for a lovely show.
Thank you for another great episode.
See you all at EJ Cards.
When's that? Is that this coming Sunday?
I think so.
This Sunday, the 4th of February.
That's right.
What time does it kick off?
10 a.m.
I'll be down. I'll probably get down there at about 11. Let's be real.
No, you won't. You always say that, and you're like 2 hours late.
3 o'clock. Turn up a bit late.
Fashionably
I could
late.
Get there early. Who knows? Could be fashionably late.
10 a.m. to 6, I believe.
10 till 6. See, 2 o'clock's fine. I'll try and get there at 10 past 2.
I bet you a pack of hoops. You won't be there at 10.
What do I get if I get there at 10 o'clock?
A pack of hoops.
All right, you're on. You're on.
Fine.
You're on.
And if you're not, I get a pack of hoops.
Done.
I've won this bet. That's the easiest pack of hoops I've ever won.
I have to go and get Russell a pack of hoops.
You just get them from EJ Cards.
That's it. I'll buy them on the day. I'll ask for a discount. Use promo code "Sorry I'm late" at checkout. Oh God! All right, thanks everybody for sticking around for another great episode. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
See ya.